There's a fundamental flaw with Life is Strange Before the Storm. The premise is just not that interesting. Playing off as an important prequel to the first Life is Strange, Before the Storm fails to capture what made the original game so great.
What the hell?
Next time, mind your own business.
Calm down. Walk away.
Before the Storm takes place 3 years before the events of the original game. The original Life is Strange is a choice-based game about teenager Max Caulfield, a time-traveling photography student and hipster. Before the Storm follows Max's druggy best friend Chloe Price. And that's the closest thing to a plot this game has. Through the 3 episodes in this game, it never finds a plot.
My dad's gone. My best friend has left me.
Hey, Mom, you wanted to talk?
And home life is a joke.
I went in depth on the problems with this series in 3 podcasts that I'll link in the description below. So I'm only going to focus on a few of the major glaring problems with this series. The voice acting in this game is beyond awful. Now, to the best of my knowledge, none of the original voice actors from the first Life is Strange came back to do Before the Storm. Now, a lot of that has to do with the fact that there was a voice acting union dispute going on around the time of this game's production. Unfortunately, Ashley Birch did not come back to voice Chloe Price in this game. And now, I don't like Chloe, but I like Ashley Birch. I think she does a good job with the script she's given. So it's very unfortunate. Now, Birch did, in some respects, come back to consult the new voice of Chloe, Rihanna DeVries. And as I mentioned in the podcast, if you listened, Rihanna DeVries is just doing a mimic of Ashley Birch. It sounds really similar, and it's painfully obvious. So I worry that Ashley Birch's consulting was just, oh hey, mimic my voice. And the other voice actors who fill in for the roles of characters from the first game are, again, pale imitations, or they're just not playing the characters the way I think they should be played. An example of this that we mentioned in the podcast was the new voice of David, Chloe's soon-to-be stepfather. In the first game, he's a gruff and tough drill sergeant. And in this game, he's playing it just like a strict father, which doesn't work because it's out of character. Another example is that I found the new voice of Victoria, the school bully, to be far too high-pitched. Now, the one voice that I actually found well acted was the voice of Rachel Amber, who in the first game, if you don't know, spoilers, is dead. So we never really had a voice. So I guess in some respects, I didn't have something to compare it to, but I thought that that voice actress did a wonderful job.
You can't leave! Why not? Because I don't want to ruin this the way I ruin everything else in my life.
What this game is truly lacking is a moment with emotional weight like the first game had. In the first game, in the second episode, there is a scene where Max Caulfield has to talk one of her friends down from jumping off the side of a dorm building and killing herself. No time travel, and the player has to use information she gathered about this person to talk them down, and you have one shot to do it. And it's that moment in the first Life is Strange was one of my favorite moments in a video game. There was so much permanency and so much emotional weight. You really felt something if you screwed up, or you felt the weight of the world lift off your shoulders if you managed to talk her down. Before the Storm has nothing like this. I said in the podcast, I don't need someone to kill themselves in every game, but there's no reason to care. The first game, there was a reason to care. You had Kate either killing herself or being saved from that, which powered me through that game. One of my goals in that game was to make sure she stayed alive even after the events of the second episode. There was so much importance. And Before the Storm has none of that. There is no story. There's no reason for this to exist, and that is the biggest problem with this game. The only positive in this game is the character of Rachel Amber. As I mentioned, her voice actor does a wonderful job, and it's the only character in the game that the plot takes time to try and develop. And that's it. It's the closest thing to a good aspect of this game that we have.
What's going to happen now? No fucking idea. But one thing I'm sure of, it all began when I met her.
Life is Strange Before the Storm fails at almost every level. Besides the character of Rachel Amber, it's all awful. A 0.5 out of 5.